What is up, everyone? Mic check, mic check, mic check. Just making sure people can hear me. I think they can. Perfect. Right off the bat, I already went long. So for those tuning in, I'm currently long at 68.25. The reason why I played longs, just to give a quick description. We sold under midnight open, our current midnight open at 68.53, sold down to previous midnight open at 68.20, which was the midnight open that I was looking for, essentially, as far as a sell-off, because that's where I really wanted to long. I'm not gonna lie, I waited 5:30. I don't think news dropped, unless somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think news dropped. But anyways, we sold off at 6 in the morning.
Farm payroll or something.
Okay, so it must have came late then, because that reaction was pretty late for what I've seen. But anyways, we sold off to 68.20, which was a previous midnight open. Now, what I'm looking for is for these midnight opens to do what they're intended to do, which is act as an equilibrium, right? I have my volume profile, I have all that to give me that extra confirmation, but essentially I'm looking for 68.20 to hold and for us to bounce and hit 68.53. That's all for now. Anything after that, I don't really care. Like if we break above 68.53 and hold, okay, they're going to continue to push the market up because now we're holding above it midnight open, so the buy algos will go to work. If we hold under 68.53, they're just going to pull this thing right back down, probably take it to 68.20. But anyways, again, I'm currently in longs at 68.25. I do have stops, hard stops at 68.12. So if they get hit, they get hit. I'm not too worried about it. But what I'm looking for right now, in order for these longs to work, I'm looking for 68.20 to hold. If 68.20 cannot hold, we're probably going to see a lot more blood for this current session. But if 68.20 could hold, they may buy this back up. So market's open. Let's see what happens. We're triggering my entries right now again. So again, if we hit 68.12, this long position that I'm currently in is chalked. I just put the post out. And let's see, again, I'm looking for a one and done. I don't really want to be on here all day. The ADP job payrolls came out. That's why we fell shortly. Okay. All right. And I'm not going to put that initial reaction that I've seen. I'm going to take note of it. So if we do stay under 68.20 today, then I expect sellers to come into full force. Right now, it should be a little bit choppy. We are, if you look at the daily time frame, we're trading on an inside day candle. So this is kind of risky to even be trading today from a technical point of view, just because we are in an inside day candle and we have been in 2 inside day candles currently. So there's no technical direction for this move. However, based on my technicals, based on my systems are all pointing to longs, especially if I go look at NQ. NQ is also pointing to longs on my system. So that's kind of what I'm just playing. I'm just adhering to my system. And hopefully, let's just say they run this up, right? We're going to hope that they break previous day highs, and that'll leave us technically bullish for the session. But if they break this thing low and break PDL, then we already know sellers are going to come and step in. But again, I'm long at 68.25. Just looking for 68.50, one and done. I will literally call it. I don't want to get greedy. I don't want to be at the markets all day. I'm not going to lie. Only because, again, November, December, very choppy months, according to seasonality. It may go up. The market may push up, yes, but it'll be choppy. So we'll see what we can get. Is that? Is that? I'm looking at my Discord chat right now. Idris, what is good, bro? It has been a cool minute. It has been a cool minute. I hope you've been good, my boy. It's been a cool minute. Holy shit. Josh, your mic is on the way, by the way. I just had to do some stuff. Vix is nosediving. That's what I like to hear.
Vic's nosediving will be healthy, right?
Yeah. I do want to see right now from a technical point of view, we are holding above a value area low, which is what I like. This is on a 5-minute though, so I'm going to check a 30-minute time frame and just look at what we're looking at. Right now, NQ does look a lot better than ES, so if I flip to NQ, it'll look a whole lot better. Anyways, looking at ES, we are holding above two value area lows, priced in at 68.29 to 68.32. So if we can hold these value area lows, we do have a POC at 68.52, POC being a fair value area, which is just under midnight open. Again, midnight open is also looked at as a fair value area as well, or equilibrium for algos and institutions. So if we can hold above the 30s, we should potentially get a squeeze to 44 and then 52. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm kind of hoping these value area lows can hold and do us some justice, but I'm not going to hold myself to it. It's a nice push so far. Again, we got to hold above the 30s. Hold above the 30s, we get a squeeze to 68.44 on ES. I want to start trading NQ more. I really do. You can make a lot more from it, but ES is very, it follows the technicals a lot cleaner, less sweeps and shit. But we're trying to hold above these 30s now. We could get a squeeze going here. If we hold above VWAP, that's going to be very, very good for a push to the upside. Right now, buyers are still trying. They're still trying. It's just risky. Still risky. Do you use a strat candle strategy F and your main indicators to trade? Yeah, so I have my whole system, which entails of session volume profile, stochastic RSI, VWAP, candlestick patterns, chart patterns, and the strat. So I incorporate the strat. Again, all I really use with these extra indicators like VWAP or stochastic RSI, it's really just to help me with my guidance if I'm taking a directional position, right? That's really all it is. So the main bread and butter, I would say, to my system would be, there's two pieces of it. It's really volume profile and the stochastic RSI. Why? Because with the stochastic RSI, at least for me, I can understand or get a gauge of when to expect buying momentum or selling momentum based on whichever time frame I'm using, whether it's the 5-minute, 30-minute, or 1 hour. And if I decide to trade on either of those time frames, I could have a good justification of when to get in based on the stochastic RSI. That's my first, bread and butter. And the second main biggest piece is the volume profile. The volume profile is pretty much, it's your market auction. It tells me where the market wants to go for the session until a value area breaks out or breaks down, right? So for this session, at least, I don't want to use a 5-minute because I feel like it's a tight profile, but like on a 30-minute at least for this current session, and this is only if they can hold it above 29, but based on, the midnight open, if they hold it above 20, this could go into play. But if they hold it above 68.29 for the current session, we should make our way to 68.52 and then 68.61. If we hold under 68.29, we could probably see sellers step in hard. But for me, 68.20 is really my level since that's the previous midnight open. If we hold under there, we could see sellers really step in and then take it to previous session value areas, right? So if this 68.29 doesn't hold, my previous value area, I have an orange line right here. So 68.19, that will be a level that can potentially test. And then I have another one down here from a previous session. If I just extend that, 68.14, right? And so that's how I can get my levels for upside and downside pretty much. So instead of me marking individual levels, I just use a profile because the market loves to trade within a profile before it decides to make a big move. And so now adding your profile with the stochastic RSI, you can kind of get a gist of when a good buying point is and when a good selling point is. Perfect example, at least today, would be 6 o'clock at least. If you look at the volume profile, this blue line is what I consider my value area high or resistance. This white line, again, PLC. And then again, these orange lines are value area low. If you look at what happened, we kept rejecting under 68.61. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, we're holding under value area high. This thing might come down to value area low at 68.29 at least for the session if this doesn't hold or if this doesn't break out. And it failed to break out. Another reason why it failed to break out, if you look down at the stochastic RSI, at least on a 30-minute, every time it hits that 100 zone, sellers tend to step in, right? Everything was looking good. Everything was looking good and dandy previously. 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, everything looking good and dandy up until what? 5 o'clock, 30-minute stochastic RSI got into that seller zone. We seen turbulence. What happened after that? Boom, sold it off just to bring the momentum down near the 0 zone. It's not there fully, but if you look at NQ, I think NQ is there fully. And that's kind of why I'm placing this current long. I'm really running off of NQ's chart, but yeah. Every time the 30 or the 1 hour stochastic RSI gets into that 100 zone, I always anticipate sellers to step in at whatever point price is. And the same thing when it gets to that 0 zone, I anticipate buyers to step in, which is why everything was fine and dandy. And we were seeing a push up until 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's because we were still in that buyer zone exiting out of it. But that's all it had as far as the momentum. It didn't have enough momentum to break out. Right. So the stochastic RSI is not really an indicator to tell you how much price is going to move, but just a momentum indicator. So if I just pull up NQ real quick, just to show you all what I'm talking about. If I pull up NQ and you look at NQ on a 30-minute, stochastic RSI is kind of in that near that 100 zone. It's not there fully, but it's almost there. pretty much there. If you look at the hourly is in that buyer zone. So that's kind of why I'm attempting longs here on the market, but we'll see. NQ is just a little bit more wickier than ES, which is why I don't really touch it too much. Why does NQ take precedence? Well, NQ only takes precedence because it's a larger weighted instrument compared to the ES. So NQ's pricing compared to the ES, it just moves a lot more. So it holds a little bit more weight, especially when the momentum favors that instrument over the other. So, and again, all indicators move in lockstep. Not all indicators, sorry, all indices. So S&P or ES, NQ, the Dow Jones, they all move in lockstep. So if ES is up, NQ should be up, the Dow should be up. Same thing for the downside. If NQ is down, ES should be down, Dow should be down. So if you know, that's why I tell people, like people that want to start out trading, and at least this is, I guess I can veer this towards future traders now. If you want to start out trading and you really want to learn something, just learn one instrument. So if it's ES, learn ES. If you can master how ES trades and moves, you can literally just mirror NQ based off your ES entries and exits. You can mirror YM based off of your ES entries and exits. You can then go play SPY. You can play QQQ based off of your ES and entries and exits. So if you can learn an indice, you'll pretty much know all of them and how they all move, because they literally all move the same. You just get one instrument that'll sweep a little bit more than the other just because of how volatile it is. So me being long ES, technically, yes, I could go long NQ and just stay in my NQ long so long as I stay in my ES long, because if it does push up, NQ should push up, right? And if I get stopped out of ES, then I should go and cut my NQ at wherever it's at. Knowing that my stop out on ES could potentially ensue more downside if, that level breaches and can't, act as support anymore, thus dragging NQ down with it. And then again, if you're long ES, you can go long SPY. If you're short ES, you can go short SPY. Seems like we're having difficulties with this 30s area. I want 30 flat to hold so we can squeeze a little bit more, but if we can get above this 34 right now, 5-minute POC did update at 34, so 34 is fair value. If we can hold above 34, we can get a squeeze to about 68.44 to 68.47. So I still am in my longs at 68.25. So I kind of want to see what the market has in store for us today. Again, I am fully aware of the chop that's currently happening. We are in an insight day candle, so there's no clear direction, at least. Not to say you can't catch intraday pops here and there, but there's no clear trend direction right now. So it's one of those, you gotta pick a side and and kind of stick with it, up until your system tells you to switch sides, or until that setup goes invalid.
Hey,
So,
Jay,
what's up?
I know you don't trade gold, but I was gonna say if you could take a look at it, I think that shit. I feel like you could long it. I don't know, I'm thinking of going long on it.
Let me see. 5, yeah. 30, not on my 30. On the 5, you could probably take a long scalp and maybe ride it back to where it rejected at maybe like 42.70s on the 5. But on the 30s, I would be careful, at least for me. On the 1 hour, I would still be careful. You could probably get a pop off on a 5, but it may chop around if it doesn't break the high. that it did. It may chop around, so I'll be a little bit careful on this as far as going long.
Gotcha.
At least because my 30 is not there yet. So unless, you know, gold makes some weird pop, it could probably retrace a little bit more. But 5 minute does look like a small long pop is ready, a long scalp.
Alright,
I was just about to, for a longer hold back into. What about just for a longer term hold back into all-time high? For gold, Joseph, if you're speaking for gold, again, it's risky. You see how it's like pulling back right now? The 5 minute, technically, we could get a pop like we see right here, but will it sustain? I don't know. I don't want to say I don't know. Just based on my 30 and just how my system goes, I wouldn't be so quick to long this personally. Unless I'm scalping. If I'm trying to catch a move, I wouldn't be so quick to long this. I would wait it off. Because look at what happens here. Every time my 30 gets into the 0 zone and it finds some support, then buyers will step in, right? But every time it gets into that 100 zone, even though it's coming off of a rally, coming off of a push-up, them sellers just find a way to step in somehow and call it off. So it looks like they may be doing that same thing here. So I would probably just chill off on gold longs for right now, just me personally. Because knowing me, I would want to personally play it all the way back up to 297. So I'd want to play it back up here. So if it wants to chop up, go ahead and chop up, but just keep it within this range. Call off the 30, call off the 1 hour in the same process, and then I may be interested. But as of now, yeah, I'm not too interested in longs. ES is being a little... Look at that. It's being a little today. Again, we just got to see 68.20 hold on ES and we'll be Gucci. But if not, we're going to get some some nastiness. Again, not expecting anything too crazy because we're still in an inside day. So would you wait for the candle to close first, and how would you want it to close? On a 30 for gold, let me go back to it real quick. On a 30 for gold, I would wait. And the only thing that would make me go long, again, on the 30 with the pullback and all that with the stochastic RSI calling, based on the strat, that's where somebody asked me about the strat. How does that incorporate with my system? I will then wait for a trigger to trigger on the strat. So like if the 30 pulls back down to the value area low at 29s, then I'm going to wait for a 2-up trigger or a 3-up trigger, and then I'll go long off that. If that makes sense. If you look here, that's clearly what it did here. Pull it back to this value area low, stochastic RSI in the 0 zone. This could have been a trigger here. This could have been another trigger here. So I probably would have taken this trigger. Just knowing me, I probably would have for sure taken this trigger. And I still would have been okay. So yeah, that's how I will play it as far as me looking at this on the 30 minute. Again, since I know the bigger the move, the bigger the time frame, the bigger the move. So 31 hour sweet spot as far as playing this. That's how I would do it. Again, with that 5 minute time frame, again, you would have expected it to pop, but the 30 minute is just too strong right now as far as the pullback. So that's what it's respecting and following. And ES is gonna make me crash out right now. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna just keep my cool and just let the market do what the market wants to do. If it wants to pull back and stop me out, go for it. But we've already seen that it tried to push up multiple times. It's failing. So if it fails 68.20, I shouldn't be too surprised as far as getting stopped out. My stops are at 68.12. Trigger being a break over the previous candle high. Yes, so it needs to be in a demand area or a value area low, and the 2-up or 3-up happens when price breaks above. A 2-up happens when price breaks above the previous candle high. That break will be your entry, and then that previous candle's wick low will be your stop loss. If you don't have like a set market structure stop loss or something like that, right? ES is kind of pissing me off. ES is kind of pissing me off here. Hold 68.20 though, and I'll be chilling. I wouldn't care too much about this chop. But if you fail 68.20 ES, we're gonna have some issues. The only way I would even go back into longs if I'm stopped out, I would. It would be tricky. It would be tricky because I would have to look at that daily time frame to see what's going on with the daily. Yeah, daily 2 down would trigger at like literally at 68.12. So if 68.12 does hit, then I for sure know to chill on trying to play longs because we could trigger a bigger sell-off to like maybe even 6,800 flat, 67.80s. So 68.12 is really our final line in the sand for this current session for buyers, in my opinion. If that doesn't hold, not only am I stopped out, but that's a daily 2 down trigger. Now we have direction in the market and it's not to the upside, so I shouldn't be long based on that, right? I would just have to wait. Either we get a failed 2 down, which is a reclaim of 68.12 if it triggers, or sellers just take the market down and just flush this bitch, you know? So 68.20 semi-line in sand, 68.12 final leg for the fucking buyers today. So if we do take a look at that daily, you'll see. If you look at daily, it's a 1 candle right there, 68.12.25, but I just call it 68.12. That's the final leg for the buyers in this session. It's another quick mini educational session, but it's on my pinned tweet and I'm gonna sound like a robot. Best way to gauge where the market can go for the day or for the session is look at what's happening on a daily time frame. If price breaks above the previous day high, I'm bullish for that session. I'm looking for longs on any pullbacks as long as previous day low doesn't break. If price breaks under previous day low, I'm bearish for that session. I'm looking for shorts on retracements to the upside so long as price doesn't break back above previous day high. That's how I play it. So yeah, if you just take it like that, you can kind of have a nice bias for the day. Yesterday there was no bias. Today, no current bias. 2 days ago there was a bullish bias, but then flipped bearish, but then went neutral. And then the last week or so, those days are just bullish biases. If you look at how the dailies happen, every time they broke above the previous day high, even on the pullbacks, they didn't break the previous day low, boom, push up. Broke above the previous day high, pulled back, pushed up. So yeah, when you see the break, what time frame do you want to see the candles holding before entering? 30-minute, 1 hour. When I see the break above previous day high, 9 times out of 10, I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, but good amount of the time they do it in a nighttime. I notice they like to run it, unless there's news in the nighttime, they like to run it during a New York session just to have all participants participating. But they'll break the previous day high in the nighttime, run it up a little bit, and then pull it back. What I like to see is on the pullback, I want to see, because when they run it up, somebody has a hot mic real quick. Give me a sec. Somebody has a hot mic. Idris, you got a hot mic. There you go. So what I want to see is when they do break it, the 30-minute and the 1 hour, most likely the stochastic RSI is going to be in that 100 zone. So that tells me don't chase the break. I want to see on the pullback, if a pullback happens, I want to see them call off the 30-minute and the 1 hour. If they can call both off, then I'm going long. If they can call it off and hold the previous day low, they have to do that. Because if they call it off, but then just flush the market and break previous day low, there's no reason to try and play long. At that point, they're just going to continue flushing the market. So they would have to call it off and then push it up. And I think I can show you a good example. Let me see. This would be a good example right here. At least what day was that? Tuesday the 25th. So let's just stay on a 30-minute. Let's just go to a quick Tuesday. I know I should be focusing on my trade, but as long as that 68.20 holds, I think we should be good still. Where's the Tuesday? Monday. Is it this Tuesday? Let me pick a better day. I don't like that Tuesday. Oh, November. Sorry, not December. November. Okay. So let's go to that Tuesday, November. Right here. Okay. So the break, the daily high was what? Because we can see exactly when it broke and everything. Give me a second. Let me just fix this. Because I'll be able to see exactly when it broke and like what happened and everything like that, right? So that Tuesday was, the high on that was 67.33. 67.33. Keep that in mind. 67.33. Okay. Good example here. Good example, but one of those examples to where it's like, oof, you would have had to use the, I think NQ on this day was the one that I had to follow because I think I even missed this run up. Just in all honesty, I think I missed this run up because I was focusing on ES while NQ was telling a different story, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. But anyways, they broke it above 67.33 at 4:30 in the morning. And then he's decided to pull it back, as you can see, but they didn't break the previous day low. They popped it back up and then sent it, right? Because they already broke the previous day high. And so my bias was bullish. But let me just show you NQ, because ES was pure bullshit that day. NQ was what was acting like a charm. So as you can see here, perfect fucking example. NQ broke above previous day high, pulled back, but look at what happened here. On that breakup of the previous day high, again, overnight, they were rallying it. It told me not to chase. Do not chase. Wait for the cool because, okay, you already got your bullish bias. Let it cool off and then you can go in. Well, at open, what did it do? It sold off, it cooled off. And then what did they do? They bought it right the fuck back up. Where is that stochastic RSI in that zero zone? Value area low from the previous session, wicked it 2 times, held this value area low even on a new candle that opened. Boom. Even if you didn't get an entry here on these wicks, you could have still gotten an entry at any point around here at this value area low hold. Went to the PLC, went to the value area high. You could have just played this session area alone here. You wouldn't have cared about any of this, if that makes sense. So that's why having both charts up helps a whole lot. So if you look at what NQ is doing today on its 30-minute, this is why I'm following it over ES right now, because it's literally telling you buy. The trigger is about to happen. So if you missed all your buying here, you could probably get a trigger soon, and you would just have to hold that bitch and trust it, and your stop would have to be down here at 432, which is a pretty crazy stop. So if you want to get a tighter entry, maybe using the 5-minute, once you get the trigger, have a stop around there. But essentially my 30-minute on NQ, as far as my system is telling me to buy, held the value area low, held above PLC. It's going for 25,625 if it can still remain above both of these. Now I have order open range levels to help me, so that helps with my guidance. The strat helps with my guidance. So 2 up continuations. Yeah, I'm literally giving you guys my sauce like for free, but I have all this in the guide that I'm working on. It's almost done. Once it's done, I'll have it dished out for you all, but it's literally A to Z of my trading step by step of like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, all that shit. So it's very simple. You can damn near teach it to a high schooler and they'll know what to do. But anyways, as you can see here, what are we doing here on a 30-minute? We held the value area low, going to PLC. Now we're going to the value area high, at least here at 68.45. One thing you have to understand with the value areas or the session volume profiles, they update. They don't stay the same. They're always updating. So you do want to, scroll through them in and out just to see. But I like the 30-minute to the 1 hour because they're pretty much hold true for the most part, so yeah. And the value area high is lining up with my open range level here. So I could technically sell here and be cool, from 68.25 all the way to 68.45. That's a 20-point move right now that we just caught on live pretty much. I'm kind of holding for 50s, but I could technically be out here and still be up a good amount. Every 10 points is 100%. So if you're catching 20 points here, look at that squeeze. If you're catching 20 points here, that's 200% per lot. So I could be chilling right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm up nicely. I have 5 lots at 68.25. So I'm getting ready to exit, and then I'm gonna call it a day here. We're at 46. I mean, 50 is just right around the corner. You know what? Let's not get greedy. Niggas never went broke taking profits. So look at this pump. Look at this pump. Look at this pump. Sell into momentum here. I'm all out. All call on live. You're welcome. And yes, it's gonna go higher. It's gonna go to 50s because that's the equilibrium. That's midnight open. But I don't want to get greedy. I've been up all night watching this market. Dead ass. I've been up all night watching this market. Dead ass. In fact, not even all night. I've been up since 6:30 yesterday because the market closed at 12. I was gonna take a nap, but I had to go run errands, and then when I was done, futures opened at 3, and so I really wanted to see what the market wanted to do since we had a consolidation candle, and I stayed up all night just watching this bitch, watching paint dry. And now it's 6:30 in the morning. That's a whole day of me staying up. I know that's not healthy, but I'm only 26, so I got a whole lot of life ahead of me. But anyways, let me go catch up on some sleep. This is a nice move. Yes, it's going higher. It's going higher. Like if you need NQ as your guidance, it's going higher. Best thing I would say is watch the 30-minute stochastic RSI. Once it gets to that 100 zone, that's when you should not chase longs anymore. But as of right now, longs are still a go. Longs are still a go. But yeah, I hope you all were able to catch something out of that. And I hope you all were able to walk away with some alpha from that little mini educational session about my system.
Good work, Jay. Good work.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. That's really all I got for today. I don't really got much else to say. I could just be yapping on, but I don't want to sit here all day. Yeah, that's literally how it should be. Like I could sit here all day and be scalping this based off the 5-minute setups, but I mean, I don't want to get greedy. Profit is still, that's my technical target. Yes, 68.50 to 53. Yes, which is midnight open. Now, if we hold under value area high here, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but that's my technical target. But again, nothing is ever perfect. Okay. Nothing is ever perfect. All right. So these pinpoint targets, don't ever think going forward, you're ever going to get these fucking pinpoint targets. Yes, it may hit, it may not hit. For all we know, this may pull back now and then decide to hit towards the end of the market session, right? But we already caught a nice move from 25 all the way up here. I'm chilling. But yes, I do still have 68.50 as an ultimate target. If it doesn't get there, hey, who cares? Fuck it, right? Fuck it. There's always a next session and we can see what the market wants to do. Also, remember, if it doesn't hit it, let's not beat ourselves up too much. We're still in a consolidation candle on a daily time frame, right? So there's no clear direction yet. Even if we go hit the 50s, there's no clear direction yet. So this thing can still chop up if it wants to. But yeah, I hope the session was helpful. I plan to go live tomorrow as well, same time. Catch a one and done if we can. If the market allows us to get more out of it, then we get more out of it. But yeah, that's going to conclude everything today. Be on the lookout for the guide. It's almost done. It is almost done. But yeah, all right, guys. Take care. Stay safe. Stay blessed. I'll be trading tonight if we get a setup. If not, we'll probably hold it off until market open. I'm probably leaning off until holding it until market open because it seems like towards the end of the year, all market participants want to be participated in this move. So it seems like they're chopping up the overnight sessions and then giving us that real move during the New York session. That's what it's been looking like as of late. So yeah, I'm not going to be too pressed to really force a trade tonight. If we can get a setup, I'll try it. But if not, then we're chilling. We just wait for the New York session. And then yeah.
Appreciate you, Jay.
All right, y'all. Take care. I'll see y'all.